It is a bright, beautiful day. I have my Starbucks drink. Let's talk about this now 13-year-old car. 13 years on the road this month. It is a 2011 C63 W204 with the 6.2 liter in it. It has not been cleaned. This is the way it looks. I've had the car for 8 years. I want to talk about what the car is like. No dents, no damage, knock on wood. Just saw an accident on the way here. And as you can tell, it's in fairly good shape. It is not winter driven anymore. Those are the 19-inch rims. This has the development pack, the P31, whatever you want to call it. Also has limited slip differential, 19-inch wheels, and backup camera, and all the other options that came with it. Opening the car with one hand. And let's take a look. That's the seat. Some of these don't age too well, but taking really good care of this, and it works fine if you do. Let's take a look inside, because it's been an interesting summer as it goes through its 13th year. The question I have for you today, is this now a classic? It's only 12 years away from being registered as an antique. We're in my jurisdiction. So naturally aspirated V8 pretty well makes it an antique these days. Let's start her up. I do have my favorite Hot Wheel right on the dash, and we'll start it up. There it is. That is in kilometers, so about 37,000 miles, as you can see when I zoom in like that. I can even switch it for you if you'd like. Here we go. There we go. Change it over to miles, and you can see I have 38,134 miles. Temperature gauge is fine. Gas keeps going down no matter what. 7,200 red line. And what do you know? I have driven this car only about 1,200 miles. 1,240 miles so far this summer in 5 months. Yeah, 5 months. It has not been a summer where we've gone many places, and I certainly haven't taken this 2011 C63 when we do. So let's go on the road and talk about this car, and is it classic or is it just old? So I put on 31,000 miles in 8 years. That's about 4,000 miles a year. It's been really good. In fact, I was just checking the bills. The last bill I had was the oil change and some other minor things done right before I put it into winter storage, and that was a total of $370. So it has not had any issues. It has not been a disaster to run, except for gas tires, which everyone will talk about. This year didn't do the racing, didn't go to a drag strip, didn't go to a track. And the reason why is I realized last year when I was on the track, this is not a track car. It is a really fun car on the street, but on the track, it's just too heavy. It is great to cruise around. It sounds great. It carries the whole family. As you'll see, I have my child seat right behind me, and this car's had a child seat in it for each of the 8 years that I've had it. So yeah, it can be done that way. You can have yourself a kid in this car and no problem. As the kids get older, that back seat, though, not that good. Now, the question I posed at the beginning was, is this going to be a classic? Is this car going to be something like a high-end Mercedes? Not at all. They made 62,000 W204 C63s. That's too many. The car I compare it to, or cars really, would be the muscle cars from the late 60s. They made hundreds, millions of Mustangs. Did they become rare collector's items? No, except for the very few that were definitely specialized. But for the most part, the cars became classic. They represented high gas, high horsepower, and good design. This is a very simple design. There's nothing crazy about it. Most people don't realize it's a special Mercedes unless they know the AMG model run. And it has been the kind of car that works well for a family and is a joy to drive without being too super expensive. But the classic part of it, it'll just be like those muscle cars. Now that we're going into the electric versions of vehicles, which are faster, This will just be something you love for the motor, that you love for that response of a naturally aspirated engine, which you don't get in any of the C63s now or the M3s. And that's something that you can't replace. Is it one of a kind? No, it's one of 62,000 or so. Fewer every day because of accidents and other things. But the car is definitely worth keeping, worth having fun. And frankly, at first I was thinking I would sell it. But the fact is, now it's reached that point where it's really not worth selling. The kind of car I would get to replace it would have to be an older hybrid, right? Like not a new electric car and not even a newer hybrid. It would have to be a 5 to 10 nearly dead battery kind of hybrid, and that's not worth it. So in the end, 8 years of ownership, the car is 13 years old, halfway to being an antique. I would buy it again if I were in the market, and frankly, I was thinking of putting it up for sale, but why? What am I going to win? And the truth is, I can't replace that kind of horsepower and never will. 481 under the hood, I'm not going to find that again with a naturally aspirated engine. And I'm sure that first time I get an electric car and I make it to 60 in 3 seconds, I'll be like, wow, that is great. But it's a different kind of great than this one. Anyways, hope you enjoyed that. If you're looking for one of these, they're out there. Get them while they're still around. Enjoy it while you can. And really, they're a lot of fun. And I think something that's value is beyond its dollars worth. You just don't find cars like this made anymore. Have a great one. Please hit like and subscribe. And I'm sure Amy will be in the next one. Thanks.